Hi, in this video I'm going to review the Kiko Color Lasting Creamy Eyeshadows. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Melissa van Dijk and I'm a makeup artist, and this is also an independent YouTube channel, which means I'm buying the products with my money. Now, not only do I review those products and also show you what I like about them and what not, but I'm also going to include a little demonstration / tutorial on how you can use them and combine them to come up with a beautiful eye makeup look. Now, I have already swatched them on the back of my hand and I'm going to use them as they come with the color. So I have chosen the colors on purpose just because I feel like those work beautifully together to use as an individual application or if you want to come up with a look with it. Now, starting off with the first shade, which is a beautiful light shimmery champagne shade, and this is also what it's called. Then for the second color, I've went with a golden rose shadow, which I mainly also want to use on the main lid area. And then lastly, I also went for a deeper shade, which is called a chocolate. Still, this one has a little bit of shimmer in it, not as much as the first and second one, but it just has a slightly sheen to it. Now, what I first noticed when I was using them and also trying them out is that what I personally do not like is that they have such a deep jar where it can be difficult to really use your finger for it and then apply it on your finger and then also use it on the main lid area. So I personally do really prefer to use a brush with it. Some cream eyeshadows do have also like a flatter jar where you don't have to deep into it so much, and then it's easy just to use your finger and apply it on the main lid area without a problem. Now, this is one negative point that I have, but other than that, I like to use them in combination or also individually. And so I'm going to start off with the one that I wanted to use on the main lid area just to show you how it looks if you're just using the bare color or if you're going to combine it. Now, as I already mentioned, it's not that difficult to use your finger with it, but I still prefer going in with a brush. I just feel like it's going to pick up a bit more product. And this is also what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a dancer brush, digging into the shade, and then also picking up some color. Now, one thing I've noticed is, I don't know if they were standing for quite some time, that they're kind of getting dry on the surface, but once you dig into it a little bit more, then you feel like it's getting softer and you have a little bit more like a mousse texture, which I do really enjoy. Now, I'm going to use this one on the main lid area and I'm going to start blending it. Keep in mind, you can use your finger for it as well. What I've noticed with those is also that they do dry if you're not going to blend the color anymore, so that they're going to stay put, which is something that's great. But also did notice that while you're going to use it with your finger or also with a brush, it kind of loses also a little bit of color. Depends on how you're going to move around or how you're going to press the finger into the color. So for now, this is also where I personally prefer to use a brush instead of the finger. So this is what it looks like now using a brush. And then when I'm using my finger for it, and you have a bit on the finger and you're going to press it over the lid, it still will look fine, but if you're going to blend the color, it kind of looks a little bit patchy, where you still have certain areas where you can see the skin looking through. Now, I don't say that this is like a major negative point, but this is something that I've noticed, like the opacity isn't really the same once you're going to blend the shadow into the skin. But you still have enough time before they are going to dry. Now, this is how you could use the shadows as an individual shadow to create a beautiful look, add a bit of mascara and you're good to go. But the main reason why I've came up with those three is because I wanted to create a look. So now I'm going to move on to the darker color, which I like to use for the outer corner only. Of course, you can use this one also on the main lid area without a problem. And I'm going to use a brush for it again, just because this is how I feel the most comfortable about it. You're going to pick up the product and then start blending it into the previous shadow. Now, with this one, I also did notice, as you can see, that the shadow is a little bit drier. So the more you're going to use it, I would say the more you're going to warm it up, and the deeper you're getting while using it, the more like a mousse-like finish you're getting, the creamier it gets. So I don't know if it's because it was standing there for quite some time, so that it kind of has dried out. So if you have already tried them and you had the same experience, please let me know. Or if you feel like they are all very creamy, then also do let me know. Because I feel like they have a different texture and also consistency in each shadow, which is a bit weird, but also interesting at the same time. Which doesn't mean that they do not blend well. I mean, you can see they blend beautifully, and they also do apply like a dream. It's just that with the first one I had no issues with any fallout because it was creamier, but with this one it's a bit drier. I'm going to use the previous shade again, and you can layer them beautifully without any issues, which is great, so that you can work them in. And now with the last color, which is the beautiful champagne shade, I do feel like this one is the creamiest from all the three that I've gotten. This one you can use as a highlighter, but also as an individual shadow on the main lid area if you feel like that you don't want to use a lot of color, but you really want to add a bit of shine to it, which works beautifully. Now I'm also going to use a smaller brush for it, and I'm going to focus it towards the inner corner and under the brows. And this just opens the eye, and that's such a beautiful color, which I do feel like is very individual, but also many skin tones can use those. Now one thing that I also want to point out is that you can use the same shadow and use it as a highlighter on your cheek, if you feel like to add a bit of shimmer to it. And just use your finger to pat it into the skin. And this is basically how you can use them in so many different ways to not only create a look, but also use it for certain face areas such as blush or highlighter. Now, I do hope that I could help you now with a little demonstration that you can use them alone and just create a beautiful and simple eye makeup look with it, or just use different colors to come up with a beautiful eye makeup look and just melt those colors into each other. Now, I do have to say, as much as I love the colors, I'm not really the biggest fan of the texture and also consistency. Like, I do feel like each color has a different texture. Some are a bit drier, other ones are a little bit smoother, which is something that I do not like, because I do want to, if I'm going to order cream eyeshadows, I feel like that every color should have the same texture, same smoothness, etc. And I also do feel like that those, when they are drying, those feel a little bit more drying in the sense of that it's going to crack, which is very uncomfortable, and you can see the little particles, as I had earlier, that you have a little bit of fallout. So if you're going to wear those throughout the day and they are getting drier even more, then I feel like it could break, not really melt, but just break apart. Whereas if you really want to stick to the same price as well as also brand, as those cost around $9, then I definitely would recommend you the Kiko eyeshadow sticks. Those perform so beautifully. The texture is like consistent. The feeling is the same. It doesn't matter what color you're using. So I definitely, from those two cream products, I would go with the stick eyeshadows, which I've also done a specific video about those, just because they perform so well, and I just would skip on those. Now, this is basically the little review and demonstration that I wanted to share with you guys. I do hope that you enjoyed this little review, and if you did so, don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!